सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ सर्ववेदान्तसिद्धान्तगोचरं तमगोचरं गोविन्दं परमानन्दं सद्गुरुं प्रणतोऽस्म्यहम्। Okay, from abridged 49 starts with naivatmapi pranamayaha. 49.
I'll read, or you will read and I'll repeat?
Yeah, I will. You can repeat, ma.
Okay.
Naivatmapi pranamayo vayuvikaraha.
नैवात्मापि प्राणमयो वायुविकारः
गन्ता गन्ता वायुवदन्तर्बहिरेषः
गन्ता गन्ता वायुवदन्तर्बहिरेषः
यस्मात् किञ्चित् क्वापि न वेत्तीष्टमनिष्टम्
यस्मात् किञ्चित् क्वापि न वेत्तीष्टमनिष्टम्
स्वं वान्यं वा किञ्चन नित्यं परतन्त्रः
स्वं वान्यं वा किञ्चन नित्यं परतन्त्रः
ज्ञानेन्द्रियाणि च मनश्च मनोमयः स्यात्
ज्ञानेन्द्रियाणि च मनश्च मनोमयः स्यात्
कोशो ममाहमिति वस्तु विकल्पहेतुः
कोशो ममाहमिति वस्तु विकल्पहेतुः
संज्ञादिभेदकलनाकलितो बलीयान्
संज्ञादिभेदकलनाकलितो बलीयान्
तत्पूर्वकोशमभिपूर्य विजृम्भते यः
तत्पूर्वकोशमभिपूर्य विजृम्भते यः
मनोमयो नापि भवेत् परात्मा
मनोमयो नापि भवेत् परात्मा
ह्याद्यनन्तवत्वात् परिणामि भावात्
ह्याद् अन्तत्वात्
ह्याद्यन्तत्वात् करेक्ट ह्याद्यन्तत्वात् परिणामि भावात् अन्तवत्वात् sorry once again ह्याद्यन्तवत्वात् परिणामि भावात्
ह्याद् अन्तवत्वात् परिणामि भावात्
दुःखात्मकत्वात् विषयत्वहेतोः
दुःखात्मकत्वात् विषयत्वहेतोः
द्रष्टा हि दृश्यात्मतया न दृष्टः
द्रष्टा हि दृश्यात्मतया न दृष्टः
बुद्धिर्बुद्धीन्द्रियैः सार्धं सवृत्तिः कर्तृलक्षणः
बुद्धिर्बुद्धीन्द्रियैः सार्धं savṛttiḥ kartṛlakṣaṇaḥ
vijñānamaya Kosha स्यात्
विज्ञानमयकोशः स्यात्
पुंसः संसारकारणम्.
पुंसः संसारकारणम्.
Once again,
Thank you.
बुद्धिर्बुद्धीन्द्रियैः सार्धं सवृत्तिः कर्तृलक्षणः.
बुद्धिर्बुद्धीन्द्रियैः सार्धं सवृत्तिः कर्तृलक्षणः.
विज्ञानमयकोशः स्यात्पुंसः संसारकारणम्.
विज्ञानमयकोशः स्यात् पुंसः संसारकारणम्.
Yeah.
Thank you, Guruji.
So last two shlokas, jnanendriyani cha manascha and manomayopi napi bhavet paratma. Manomaya was defined. What is the topic? The context is Atma Anatma Vivekaha. Tayor Vivekaha Katham etaducyatam. Student's question, the last question of the student. So how do I distinguish Atma from Anatma? And so, this time, Bhagavan Shankaracharya is referring to Anatma as Panchakoshaha. Panchakoshaha, correct? So started with Annamaya Koshaha. And we saw there that, wait a minute, last time he already described Anatma. Anatma was described a while ago as Sthula Shariram, Sukshma Shariram, Karana Shariram. We know that. So now he is introducing, by way of referring to that same Anatma, instead of just referring to them as these Sthula Shariram, Sukshma Shariram and Karana Shariram, he is using a different model. Different model. Because it is there in the Shastra. Taittiriya Upanishad is there. Panchakosha Prakriya is there. So Panchakosha Prakriya is very big. Which is like our Shariratraya Prakriya. Shariratrayam, three types of bodies. So no big deal. So there, that Sthula Shariram is equal to Annamaya Kosha here. Okay. And then Karana Shariram there is going to come. Anandamaya Kosha is going to come later. In between three more koshas. That Sukshma Shariram is divided into three koshas. That's all. So a little more, a finer understanding of Sukshma Shariram. And so this Pranamaya Kosha was there. We saw that. Then Manomaya Kosha was looked at. Manomaya Kosha. So Manaha and Indriyani, you saw that in shloka number 50. Jnanendriyani manascha manomaya syat. And then that manomaya napi bhavet paramatma. By looking at it, what is the advantage? Slowly I can appreciate what Atma is. Because my whole idea of I is intermingled, intermixed, totally mixed up with with Anatma. So how to separate that? Munja dishikamiva, I think he said. So that is what? That is the process, slowly. So the more we listen to this, the more sensitized we get. And the more the idea of Atma becomes realer and realer. More real. Okay. So that's the idea. And so after some time, it will be, nobody can touch us after that. Touch us means what? Nobody can shake our understanding of Atma. So that's the idea. So Manomaya napi bhavet paratma. Manomaya also cannot be the Atma. Why? Because of these factors. Adyantavat, Manas begins and ends, etc. It has whereas Atma is ajaha, not even beginning. It's not even born. That kind of Atma I am trying to understand here. And then Manaha Dukkhatmakatvat, whereas Atma is Ananda Swarupaha. All this we saw. Now we are going to look at this Buddhihi Buddhīndriyaiḥ. So the words to underline are Vijnanamaya Kosha syāt. That's it. that Vijnanamaya Kosha, what is it, is being said here. All right. So, what is the pramanam for this? What is the pramanam? That there is a manomaya and then Vijnanamaya is there. Why are you splitting it in this manner? Again, Taittiriya Upanishad says that. We have the pramanam. Anyontara Atma Vijnanamayaha. Taittiriya Upanishad says that. Anyontara Atma, there is another Atma. Oh, Manomaya is not the Atma? No, Manomaya is not Atma. Then what is it? This Vijnanamaya is there. So like that, Taittiriya Upanishad says, other Upanishads also say it. And so, therefore, Shankaracharya wants to tell us what is that Vijnanamaya Kosha. Alright, so Kosha you understand, and Kosha is a covering as it were, okay, as it were. It becomes a covering. So it's a covering for one who does not know. Vijnanamaya is Atma. Vijnanamaya is Atma. Manomaya is Atma. Pranamaya is Atma. Annamaya, of course, is Atma. Everything is Atma for me. But until I know that it is a Kosha. So, buddhihi buddhīndriyaiḥ. Buddhihi. So what is Vijnanamaya Kosha? List. Buddhihi. And he's going to explain what the buddhi is. How is it different from manaha, he has to tell. So buddhihi. And then buddhīndriyaiḥ sārdhaṃ. Buddhīndriyaiḥ sārdhaṃ. What is buddhīndriyaiḥ? Same as jñānendriyaiḥ. This buddhīndriyaiḥ, buddhi, here should be replaced by jnanam. So buddhīndriyaiḥ will be same as jnanendriyaiḥ. And jnanendriya, we know what it is. They are the sense organs. The same reference to sloka number 50, jnanendriyāni ca. Okay? It's a different way of saying buddhīndriyaiḥ. Synonyms. So the sense organs along with the buddhi is called Vijnanamaya Kosha. Vijnanamaya Kosha syāt. But then he says buddhihi buddhīndriyaiḥ sārdhaṃ. Sārdhaṃ means along with or together. The buddhi together with the sense organs is called Vijnanamaya Kosha. Okay, so that we understand. And then he's going to say later, savṛttiḥ kartṛlakṣaṇaḥ. Savṛttiḥ. Again, that sa also refers to along with. It's in Sanskrit it's a vrityāsaha, like that we say. So along with vrittis. Along with vrittis means what? So okay, that is buddhi and sense organs, 5 sense organs and buddhi, okay, are there. And now what happens to this buddhi? It's not sitting there. It operates. It's an operator here. It's a silent operator, and it operates based on vrittis. Savṛttiḥ. Along with vrittis. Vritti means a thought form. When I say 2 plus 3 is equal to 5, 2 vritti has taken place, plus vritti has taken place, 3 vritti has taken place, is equal to vritti has taken place, 5 vritti has taken place. So many things are constantly moving. Look at that. And then you say, yes, that's correct. When you say, that buddhi is saying correct. Or if I said 2 plus 3 is equal to 6, then you'll be wondering, what is this, Guruji, what is he going to come up now? Like that you will say. That also buddhi only. Because you know something and then something else was said. So you compared those two and then vritti. processing, constantly processing. So savṛttiḥ, processing. And here, kartṛlakṣaṇaḥ, he says, that vritti, that processing power leads to a particular unique function for this buddhi, which is not there for the mind. And that function is called kartritvam. Kartritvam. What is this kartritvam? This sense of I. This sense of I. The first time, see, all Annamaya and all over. Finally, Vijnanamaya, the sense of I is identity is there. Self-identity is there. And so, this, who are you? If you say, who are you? You have not come to yet. This constantly, the obvious thing that is out there. I did it, I did not do it. I did it, I did not do it. How do you like the rasam I made today? Because this cold and cough all the time. We people cold and cough, we surrender to rasam. We just surrender means it's not an ordinary surrender. Just rasam, it's given. Everybody, it's understood in our families. So I made rasam today. How do you like it? I made rasam today. Okay? Yeah, obviously, because nobody else is there, I should have made it. And so I made rasam today. How did you do it? Or some guest comes and says, and then you introduce yourself, and then you ask them, who are you? How are you? What's your background? Immediately I comes. kartṛlakṣaṇaḥ, I did this, I did that. I grew up there. Oh, you are from that village? I am from just 10 kilometers from there. Like this, I. The whole resume is built on I. kartṛlakṣaṇaḥ. Look at that. Characterized by kartritvam. Characterized by agency. If you want to translate it into English, we can say agency. Okay. Small thing. I just heard a peacock. I heard a peacock. Small things. Big things also. Big things. I had 3 children. Big thing it is. I had 3 children is a very big thing, because that relationship is there for a lifetime. Okay. So all this I, everywhere this kartṛlakṣaṇaḥ, karta, that buddhi. If you want to characterize buddhi by one word, that is called the agent of action. Okay, karta means the doer, So agent of action, that's the meaning there. And so, even though Anandamaya is coming next, okay, Swamiji, Paramarthanandaji says he is the leader of the group. Every group has to have a leader, So, he is the leader of the group. Anandamaya is a leader in a different sense, but this guy, in terms of activity and all, visibly it is there. It is very visible to all of us that this buddhi is the leader. Okay, karta. And you can call him ahankara also. Karta, ahankaraha. These words we use. Technical word, chidabhasa, all these words we use. Okay, but karta, ahankaraha, these go together. Why? Aham karta iti ahankaraha. Ahankara, the word karta is sitting right there. Ahankaromi iti ahankaraha. I do, therefore I am called ahankaraha. Ahankara. So sometimes the word ahankara is used in a different context also. This guy has ahankaram jasti, so jasti hai. It means what? That's the sense of I is too much. He's very arrogant. He is always talking about himself. That there also ahankara is used, the word ahankara. But general meaning of ahankara is aham karta, this I. Who has to get up in the morning? I get up. I have to get up. Nobody else can make me get up. I have to get up. From that time onwards, ahankara is active. The moment I open my eyes, thoughts are going to flood in. But before all thoughts flood in, what is the thought? What is the vritti that has happened? Aham vritti. You don't realize it, but it has come. We don't realize other thoughts also that come. That is a different issue. But this aham vritti comes. It is a basic vritti. Basic vritti underlying everything else. underlying everything else. TV vritti comes. I am watching TV. Okay, I vritti is there. TV vritti is there. And I am watching TV. Everything happens. That I vritti is constant until I go to sleep. The I vritti will not go, will not leave. Because when you ask somebody, what are you doing? I am doing nothing. I am doing nothing means what? I is there or not? I is there? Are you there? Yeah, I am there very much. Okay, that's what. You're doing nothing. What about daydreaming? Are you daydreaming? How do you know I'm daydreaming? No, I'm just checking. That means it's not, you're not doing nothing. You're doing a lot of stuff. Daydreaming takes a lot, So, that is savṛttiḥ, kartṛlakṣaṇaḥ. And so then they ask here, they make a difference. Swami Chandrasekhara Bharati Mahaswamiji says, Manaha Karanalakṣaṇaḥ, Karana Atma. When Atma is in the form of an instrument, the mind is called the mind. Mind is an instrument. Then what about buddhi? Buddhi, is it an instrument? No, it's a karta. Kartṛ Atma. It's a doer. It's the actor. It's the subject. Karana is an instrument. A subject uses an instrument, and so that is the way you should look at buddhi and mind. Like that, he makes a distinction, which is perfect. All right. So savṛttiḥ kartṛlakṣaṇaḥ. That is the nature of buddhi. That is the nature of what? Vijnanamaya Kosha syāt. Syāt means would be called. This complex composed of buddhi and indriyani, this complex, this partner, this leader who is making use of manaha and indriyani and the rest of the body also, this leader plus the indriyani is called Vijnanamaya Kosha. Syāt would be referred to as Vijnanamaya Kosha. And so, not an ordinary guy, right? So here now, Swamiji gives more examples, and he now he says he's a mafia leader, because now he is now not an ordinary guy. A lot of people are helping him, helping the buddhi, helping her, I should say, because buddhi is Strilingam, and so everywhere buddhi is involved, mind also is involved, buddhi is involved, but buddhi does something. It says, takes on agency. I did it. That I did it comes. The doing is happening, and then I did it comes, and that I is involved. Now, take a look at this. I heard a peacock. What do you call it? Peacock. There must be these technical English words are there. I heard a peacock chirp, let's say. I don't know the right word for it, but chirp. I heard a peacock chirp. Okay? And so, now look at this carefully. I want to ask you something. You are hearing me. All right, you are hearing me. Among other sounds, you are hearing me also. And now I ask you, I give you an exercise. For the next 10 seconds, just 10 seconds, don't move your body. Don't shake. Be the way you are right now. And don't move your hands and legs. Just be where you are. Keep the hands where they are. Next 10 seconds. Because you have free will, right? You have agency. You should be able to respond. You should be able to acknowledge, do what I am about to ask you to do. And that is, for the next 10 seconds, don't listen. Don't listen to me. Brahmanandam paramasukadam kevalam jnanamurtim dvandvatitam gagana sadrisham tattvamasyadilakṣyam. Since you are not listening, I can talk to somebody else also right now and get some jobs done here. But anyway, class is going on. So now, from now onwards, you can start listening to me. From now onwards. Right? You said you are only listening to me. You are talking. You are doing this. You are doing that, you said. You, by your own will, free will, we say. You are listening also. If you have that kind of free will, did you really not listen to me if I say, you are helpless. You are helpless because, why are you helpless? Why are you helpless? Because, you know why it is? This is very critical to understand. In order for you not to listen to me, you got to do other things. You got to turn off the speaker, or you have to close your ears. Something you have to do. Something extra you have to do. Why extra you have to do? What is this extra? You have free will right now, you should be able to do it. Hey, that is because the hearing is a pramanam. It's a sense organ. And the sense organ, when pramanam is operating, free will has no role to play. Free will does not decide whether pramanam operates or not. Underline this statement. Free will does not decide whether a pramanam operates. Within bracket, sense organ operates. This is huge. This is huge. Let's just dig into this a little bit. Already I showed you. I proved to you why you are not able to. You are not able to stop listening to me. Because you have free will. Therefore, since you cannot stop listening to me, I am saying you cannot even say I am listening to me technically. All you are doing is you turned on your computer, you looked at the clock, okay, it's time for a class, and you came to the class and then you sat in front of the computer and things are happening. Okay? That's all you have done. That's all you have done. Listening is happening. Why it's happening? Because there is no choice. It has to happen. When will it happen? When your ears are working reasonably well and your mind is behind those ears. And if the devices that are there in front of you, they are all in working order, then you cannot but listen. You cannot but hear. Because that's the job of the pramana. The pramana does not depend on your free will to operate. That is why you have to close your ears. You have to intervene. You have to stop the flow of sound to your ear, to stop hearing. You cannot, even then the ears are hearing, but there is no sound to hear, that's all. That is why when you are traveling in a vehicle, in a car, for example, and you are having a nice time, windows are all open, nice weather, etc., suddenly you start hearing some smell, you are smelling something, smelling an odor. You are smelling something. In India, if you go like this, sometimes some people start burning all kinds of stuff. We keep smelling all the plastic odor and all, constantly it comes inside. Nobody can stop it. So some smell starts coming. And then it's something burning and you don't like it. What do you do immediately? Why don't you tell your nose, stop smelling it? You can't do it. That is why you have to raise the windows of the vehicle, car. So raise the windows. You have to do something to stop that from coming inside. Why? Because your nose cannot but smell. Assuming the nose is not blocked, okay? Nose cannot smell, but smell. That's it. That is why? Because that is a pramanam. That is a indriyam. Indriyani. That's a vishesha of this pramanam. When a pramanam is constantly operating, constantly. That's why you can't stop these smelling all these things that come. Sometimes the smell is pleasant, sometimes it's not pleasant. Your free will has no role to play. No role to play in the operation of a pramanam. This is critical. Therefore, we can bring that idea here. and say, okay, this guy is kartṛlakṣaṇaḥ, buddhihi kartṛlakṣaṇaḥ, Vijnanamaya Kosha syāt. I keep saying I, and because he keeps saying I hear, I do, I talk, I do this, I do that, it becomes saṃsārakāraṇam. Saṃsārakāraṇam. What is the connection between this and that? Yeah, we'll slowly take it forward. Saṃsārakāraṇam. You made a mistake? When I'm really not listening, I am not the agent of listening. Listening happens. Listening is happening. We are not saying listening is not happening. Listening happens. But you are not responsible for the listening. Look at that. You are not fundamentally responsible. Why? Because that's a job. It's a job. You put a thermometer it will measure whatever is there. You can't stop the thermometer from measuring whatever is there. The temperature. Like that my sense organs are. And therefore, a free will was not involved there. Yet, when I say I did it, I am imputing free will. I am imputing agency to that. It is me who is responsible for listening. Okay? And so, I do that everywhere, even though in reality that is not the case. That we have to see later. Later we are going to see all that. And therefore, having imputed that kartritvam, instead of imputing it to buddhi, I impute it to myself, the self, the fundamental self, and then I suffer. Why should I suffer? Because kimaham sadhuna karavam, kimaham papamakaravamiti iti. Taittiriya Upanishad. The minute I become a karta, now all problems are waiting to happen, because I am responsible for doing what I should not have done. Kimaham papamakaravamiti. Why did I do this mistake? That's it. Lifelong it is sitting in my head, causing guilt and hurt. That is hurt. And then guilt also is there. Why did I not do what I was supposed to do? Why did I not discharge my duty properly? Kimaham sadhuna karavam. Sadhu means good, my duty. My duty. Kimaham na karavam. Why I did not do. That's it. The kartritvam will make me go on a trip. That's what Taittiriya Upanishad is saying. This guy is on a trip. Guilt trip. Hey, they say guilt trip also. Look at that. That's exactly what it is. Guilt trip. That's what it is. Kimaham sadhuna karavam. Why I did not do. I had the money, I had all the resources with me, still I was supposed to do this, I did not do it. And therefore, saṃsārakāraṇam. This is samsara over. Samsara we can summarize in a few lines. We don't have to write a whole autobiography and say this is my samsara and all. Not needed. Are you a karta or not a karta? Kartṛlakṣaṇaḥ. If you say I am a karta, then I am a samsari. And then Swamiji says, this what I said just now, Swamiji has not said, but this is part of my other notes. He says, this karta is what is responsible for my karma. Thalezhuthu. My karma. My karma. My karma, who created your karma? Karta only created my karma. So all this sanchita, prarabdha, agami, everything is created by this. And therefore, this guy is not just a leader, he is a mafia leader. Mafia leader. Like that Swamiji says. And so, Kosha Kridvat, like Shloka number 39. Just like this silkworm is weaving silk and around itself not a problem, but in the end it becomes a cause of its own destruction. Like that example we saw. And so that is that saṃsārakāraṇam. Pumsaha means of this manushyasya, of this person, jivasya. What does Mahaswami say? Swamiji says Atmanaha. He says Atmanaha. Pumsaha is equal to Atmanaha. Means what? Not the Satchidananda Atmanaha. Atmanaha means of oneself. This Vijnanamaya Kosha is a cause of samsara for oneself. Oneself, Pumsaha. Or of that person. Whichever way you want to take it is fine. And Shrotradibihi Saha. Yeah. Everything else I've explained. So that's the introduction to Vijnanamaya Kosha. And many shlokas are there. We are going to see one more shloka. There are 23 shlokas talking about Vijnanamaya Kosha. 23. We are only going to cover 2 of them. So let's look at the translation of the shloka. The buddhi with its thought modifications and the organs of perception is the Vijnanamaya Kosha. Is the Vijnanamaya Kosha, which is of the nature of the doer, the nature of the doer. Which is of the nature of the doer. Doer, see this doer, we keep saying doer and all that, but English, I don't know if there is a word called doer. At least I have not used it in our language, but here it becomes a very important thing. Which is of the nature of the doer and the cause of samsara for the person. And the cause of samsara for the person. The buddhi with its thought modifications and the organs of perception is the Vijnanamaya Kosha, which is of the nature of the doer and the cause of samsara for the person. Okay. Good. Next shloka. anuvrajaccitpratibimbaśakti
anuvrajaccitpratibimbaśakti
vijñānasaṃjñaḥ
vijñānasaṃjñaḥ
prakṛtervikāraḥ
prakṛtervikāraḥ
jñānakriyāvānahamityajasraṃ
aham ityasrajasram dehendriyādiṣu
abhimanyate bhṛśam
abhimanyate bhṛśam
anuvrajaccitpratibimbaśakti
anuvrajaccitpratibimbaśakti
vijñānasaṃjñaḥ prakṛtervikāraḥ
vijñānasaṃjñaḥ prakṛtervikāraḥ
jñānakriyāvānahamityajasraṃ
jñānakriyāvānahamityajasraṃ
dehendriyādiṣvabhimanyate bhṛśam.
dehendriyādiṣvabhimanyate bhṛśam.
Yeah.
Oh.
The words you want to underline here are in the third quarter, aham iti. Aham iti. 2 words, aham iti. And then last quarter, abhimanyate. Aham iti abhimanyate. Abhimanyate. Manta hai. Considers. Takes. Takes what? Takes as I. Aham iti. Considers as I. That's the idea. Okay. And the noun, another noun is there here. Vijñānasaṃjñaḥ. Vijñānasaṃjñaḥ. Or saṃjñaḥ. Saṃjñaḥ. Saṃjña means definition or name. Saṃjña means name. Saṃjña in Sanskrit, saṃjña. So, that which has the name of Vijnana is called Vijñānasaṃjñaḥ. Vijñānasaṃjñaḥ, known as a Vijñānasaṃjñaḥ, called as a Vijñānasaṃjñaḥ. Okay, all that. Like our avyaktanamni paramesha shaktihi, we saw long ago. So, avyaktanamni, called as avyaktam, also named as avyaktam. Maya was called avyaktam there. Okay. So, like that here also. Vijñānasaṃjñaḥ, called as Vijnana. So like that, see, look at in Sanskrit, you have all this very, how do I say, concrete forms, almost cryptic sometimes. And so, those beautiful formations are possible in Sanskrit. So, one word, Vijñānasaṃjñaḥ. Alright, this Vijnanamaya also, which has got the name Vijnana, prakṛtervikāraḥ. Vikaraha, product. Vikaraha also means change. Product, let's take it as product here in this context. It is a product. It's a product of prakriti. Like that Shankara says. It's product of prakriti. Prakriti we already saw. Prakriti. So that Karana Shariram is prakriti. Karana Shariram. Karana Shariram means you have to go back to those shlokas number, I don't know if I've written it down, 31, 32. 31 and 32. That same Avyakta Namni Paramesha Shaktihi Anadya Vidya Trigunatmika Para Karyanumeya Sudiyaiva Maya Yaya Jagat Sarvamidam Prasuyate. We saw that there. So all beautiful shlokas to memorize. Next, Sannapyubhayatmikano Bhinnapyubhayatmikano Sangapyanangapyubhayatmikano Mahadbhuta Nirvachaniya Rupa. Like that we saw 2 shlokas. And so that Avyakta Namni. Prakriti means what? Avyaktam. Avyaktam means what? Karyanumeya Sudhiyaiva Maya. All this Anadya Vidya. Look at that Avidya. When you want to refer to what is the cause of this thing, Anadi. And that is called Avidya. And so Avidya, Prakriti, Avyaktam, Maya. This is all the same thing here. That product of this Prakriti, product of Maya. Like that he's saying here. So avidya is ignorance, but ignorance is there of so many things. Even before I was ignorant of so many things in this world, so many things are being produced. In fact, people go to the mall these days, there's something new. Something new has to be there. Gadget, if you go to a gadget store, there are things that you recognize and there must be things that you don't recognize also, correct? Only then it's a good gadget store. Otherwise, kya baat hai? What is the same tape recorder you are selling? This is 2025, okay? Who wants to buy a tape recorder? Gone. So things are changing constantly. Hey Siri, I like that thing very much. I went to one person's house, I told you, in Delhi. And after a conference, he invited me home. I went there. And then he wanted to, this thing he had on the TV, he said, he started talking to it. But it didn't work. Unfortunately, when I was there, it did not work. And so that's different. But I think, what's the weather today, Delhi? We're planning to go out and all. I think you can talk with that. And it will talk to you back. And these days, the phone also is doing to some extent. It is trying to do it. Sometimes it says, no, I can't do that. First of all, I don't talk much with you. And one time I spoke to you, you say, I can't do that. What is the point then? I'm sorry, I can't do that. Arey, India mein Indian accent rehna chahiye na? What is I can't do that and all that? I don't understand what you're saying. So, this, why I said all this? This avidya is there of so many things. Okay? So this particular anadi avidya is referred to as moola vidya. Just to distinguish that original avidya. So moola vidya. That is this prakriti. So he's saying this Vijnanamaya Kosha is a product of prakriti. So from Maya came Panchabhutani. Tasmad va tasmad atmana akasha sambhutaha akashad vayuh vayor agnihi agnerapah adbhyah prithvi. Like that. First Panchabhutas came, and from the Panchabhutas, once they are there, then we know how this Sukshma Shariram has come about. Okay? So all the Indriyani has come about from the Sattva aspect of each Panchabhuta. So Akashasya Satvikamshat Shrotrendriyam Sambhutam. Okay. Vayuhu Satvikamshat Tvagindriyam Sambhutam. So like this we studied in Tattva Bodha. But if you haven't studied, that's also okay. You can just refer to any online Tattva Bodha. It will tell you exactly. Akasha, Vayu, Agnihi, Apaha, Prithvi. From Akasha, hearing. The ear can only pick up sounds. Whereas the touch has both the sound aspect as well as the Vayu aspect is there. So touch. Like that. You space, because touch also it needs space to occupy, and so to accommodate. That's what I meant. So subtle elements are there, and then what about mind has not come yet? Okay, mind will come. Mind will come from what? The sattva aspect of each of the 5 elements together will produce what? Ye tesham panchabhutanam samashti satvikamshat mano buddhindriyani chittam sambhutam. Like that we saw, I think. Not indriyani. Mano buddhi ahankara chittam. Where indriyani? Indriyani already produced. So this whole complex called mind, intellect, memory and ahankara separately listed out, because he's another key guy within the buddhi. Sambhutam. Okay, therefore all that whole process is happening from what? From moola prakriti, prakṛtervikāraḥ. Okay, that's the way to understand it. All right, then this one interesting topic is there. Mind is a product of the sattva guna of each of the 5 panchabhutas, or 5 bhutas. What 5 panchabhutas? 5 panchabhutas, if I say, it becomes 25 bhutas, No. 5 bhutas, bhutani or panchabhutani. Alright. So, sattva aspect. Now, but then the mind is there. But mind has sattva, predominantly sattva we say, but it also has rajas and tamas. If it did not have rajas and tamas, then there is no activity possible. You can't get up in the morning. You can't say, I've got to do all these things. I have a class I have to go to. You can't say that. You can't say that because you need a push. That push is rajas. So rajas is also there. And in the night you can't go to sleep if you don't have tamas. So tamaguna has to get active at some time or the other. And so it will get active. If you have some nice solid South Indian, if you go to a Southern Indian restaurant and have a big thali, then guaranteed, for you some things are guaranteed. And one thing guaranteed is tamas will act up. And don't do that. When you're traveling and all, driving a car and all, don't do all these things. You just have a light meal and move on. Let others have. So, that tamas is there. So, even though mind is a product of sattva, it still has some element of rajas and tamas. That we have to remember. Okay. And then, so prakṛtervikāraḥ, what does he say here? First line, anuvrajaccitpratibimbaśakti. So, that vijñānasaṃjñaḥ, which is a product of prakriti, is giving another qualification to that. And there is a particular shakti it has. Shakti. And what is that shakti? Now he is using the word chit. Chaitanyam has come. Because why? We are getting closer and closer to Chaitanyam. And why are we getting closer to Chaitanyam? Because that is how the nature is. The sthulam, from grass all the way you have to come to Atma. And paraha. So indriyani attebhyascha indriyani paranyahuhu artebhyascha param manaha manasastu para buddhihi buddhirātmā mahan paraha matah param avyaktam avyaktat purushah paraha purushanna param kinchit sa kashta sa para gatihi. Kathopanishad, we saw this. So param, everywhere param means quote unquote, we saw what param means. So param means subtler and then more pervasive and atma bhutam api, closer to the nature of atma. Okay, that is why. So chit has come now. Chit pratibimbaśakti. The body is also conscious, all right. That same that same Chaitanyam. I think I should not raise my voice. That's the trick. So that body is conscious. Body is jadam. Really speaking, body is jadam. It is inert. But it is conscious also. It's conscious. From touch onwards, touch is just pervading the body. And it allows me to sense everything and it feels conscious. And where does that consciousness come? Well, it comes from Chaitanyam only, but not directly. But now this guy, this buddhi, is chit pratibimbaśakti. It has the ability, it is the first guy who has the ability to borrow. Pratibimba means what? Bimba means a solar disk. The sun that you see out there, okay, sun. The disk of the sun is called bimba. Then what is pratibimba? The reflection of the sun. Any reflection is called pratibimba. Pratibimba. So reflection of the sun on the water, pratibimba. Okay. And we famous example, a Panchatantra example. The rabbit and the lion. And the rabbit became a meal for the next thing. Nice. United. All animals were very united. I have to give it to them. And once this rabbit came, and rabbit was worried, oh my God, today I have to die and all that. So the smart guy. So pratibimba, look, you look at what these people are talking about you. Like that he said, it seems. Who is talking about me like that? Look. And then there is that lion talks a lot about you. And then lion screamed like this, roared, and that guy roared back. And he got furious, the lion got furious, and he went and attacked that pratibimba. So that is pratibimba. Okay, pratibimba. So chit pratibimba, just like the reflection of the sun, like that, this consciousness seems to as though reflect in the mind. That Shakti, this reflection Shakti the Buddhi has, Chit Pratibimba Shakti, okay, Anuvrajat. Anuvrajat means again same thing. Vrajati means to move. Gatyarthe, vrajati. Vraj means to move. That is why our acharyas are called Parivrajaka. Parivrajaka means what? Moving and always moving. Always moving. Especially during this Chaturmasya Vratam and all. Parivrajaka. So that vraj means to move. Here also, anuvraj. Anuvrajat. Anuvrajat. Means it has. See, he is saying, Acharya is saying, okay, means anu, follows. It follows that consciousness. The mind seems to have the nature of consciousness. It has gained the property of consciousness. So anuvrajat. Anuvrajat chit pratibimba shakti. The mind is, not the mind, the buddhi. Here I have to be a little careful. I have to say buddhi, because we are talking about Vijnanamaya Kosha. Okay? And that Vijnanamaya has gained the property of consciousness, as it were, has become conscious, as it were. Why should it become conscious? Well, that is, otherwise it can't function. And it gives that a little bit of that to manas, and manas gives a little bit of that to the sense organs, and the sense organs gives a little bit of that to the sthula shariram. So there is that flow of consciousness, if at all you want to use the word flow in quotation mark. That flow is anuvrajat. Anuvrajat. Okay. So buddhi is the first, because the Prime Minister cannot meet everybody. He can meet the head of the state and then say, here are the programs, here are the central funds you can use for your state, like that. And then the state does the rest of the job. So like that. Anuvrajat pratibimba shakti. And Swami Paramarthanandaji, he says, Vijnanamaya travels, it's a traveling thing. We are part of Sukshma Shariram, and it is traveling, no doubt. It will travel even if the body is gone, it will travel. It will travel all right, but still it is anuvrajat. It has the capacity to borrow that consciousness. Why? Because consciousness is all pervasive. Like the ATM, wherever you go, your money is following you, it seems. The ATM is there. So like that, this consciousness is following this. Or other way, Vijnanamaya is following consciousness, like that. So, all pervading ATM, Atma. So like that. Oh, ATM, Atma, that also is there. Okay, ATM, ATMA. That is another thing. Alright, anyway. So, therefore, that buddhi becomes sentient. Sentient means it's throbbing with life. It's throbbing with things that it can otherwise not do. And it makes things happen. Buddhi. Kartṛlakṣaṇaḥ. And so like that. Anuvrajat chit pratibimba shakti. And then what happens? jñānakriyāvānahamityajasraṃ. Jñānakriyāvān. That's it. Kartṛlakṣaṇaḥ was said earlier. Now he says jñānakriyāvān. Jnanakriyāvān means what? Jnanavancha kriyavancha. Two words are there. Jnanavan. What is Jnanavan? Hey, Jnanavan. One who has Jnanam is called Jnanavan. I know so much. I know this, I know that. So much is there. I may not say I know it, but I do know it. I do know it. And so that Jnanavan, that person becomes a Jnanavan. That capacity to know has now been gained. That Shakti has been gained by this Buddhi or Vijnana. Buddhi and Indriya together. So, Vijnanamaya Kosha. Because partner, with only partnering with the Indriyas, the Buddhi can gain knowledge. By itself, it can't gain knowledge. And therefore, buddhirindriya, this complex. Okay. And so, it becomes a Jnanavan. Jnanavan. I heard the peacock when I say Jnanavan. Kriyavan. I heard when I say Kriyavan. Kriyavan. Suddenly, there's so many things. And in fact, I worked in a company, so I know, I look for jobs and all that. So that resume writing is an art. And it took me a while to figure out all these things. I was too naive, and I used to write resumes and all before. And you compare that resume with the resumes of today, there is really no comparison at all. That's how bad I used to write a resume. Then they told me you should begin with an action word. Action word. Okay? A doctor will say, treated cancer patients with advanced oncological something, treated, he will say. Cured, he will use the word cured. Because no point in treating any. I also can treat. I also keep treating my mother and father all the time and myself. So what? What is the difference between you and me? He has to say something. Treated, cured, discovered. Okay? Collaborated with. All these words we used to use. Okay? Managed. I managed so many people. 100 people I managed. Okay? So that's not an easy thing. That's a qualification. So these are all action. So this guy becomes a kriyavan. He can say it because he is a kriyavan. He is a karta. Kriyavan means what? One who has kriya is called kriyavan. Means one who is able to act and own it up. It's called a kriyavan. So very interesting word. Rarely it comes kriyavan in Shastram. I don't see that often. But here he's saying kriyavan. And Jnanavan. So until now, Jnanavan is all aparavidyavan until now. So because it's all knowledge of things only. He's going to become a paravidyavan later. So Atma Vidyavan later, that buddhi only has to become. But until then, it's all aparavidyavan. And so, what is jñānakriyāvān? And then ahamiti ajasraṃ abhimanyate. We are now coming to the crux. Abhimanyate. And what is the result of all this? Final result that we are interested in? Abhimanyate. Considers ahamiti. Okay? Dehendriyādiṣvabhimanyate. Abhimanyate. In all this, deha means body, indriya means sense organs, etc. This whatever is there in this body, he considers this whole thing as I. Dehendriyādiṣvabhimanyate aham iti abhimanyate. I consider this body as me only. Of course, who else is this body? Please tell me. That is what he says. He argues also. And so it goes, wherever I go, body goes. Therefore, body is me. Very obvious. So, deha, indriya. So, I am short-sighted, I am long-sighted, etc. That is all I. That is I. I becomes I. EYE becomes I. Correct? EYE becomes I. EYE should be EYE only, but it becomes I. So, like this, deha indriyadishu ahamiti abhimanyate. Brilliant observation here. Okay, and and then ajasraṃ, bhṛśam, bhṛśam abhimanyate. Let's look at the word bhṛśam. Intensely, Mahaswamiji says, atyantam, I think, yeah, atyantam, atyantam means intensely, not an ordinary identity, association. This is not an ordinary association. This is mine, that is mine, this is mine, these books are mine, everything is mine. But at least sometimes I can take this mine and say, okay, you take this. You should read this book, I can say. And my association can be given up also with that book. But this association, I can't be given up. Bhṛśam means intensely. It is passionate, and passionate also not the right word. It's intense. I don't know how to describe it. It is there from the beginning, from the day one, it is like this. And so it is connected, inseparably connected. That is called bhṛśam. But fortunately, it's an identity. Identity is a function of the buddhi. Buddhi has the ability to say, no, this doesn't belong to me, I can say. Or I'm going to give up the things I like. All these beautiful sweets and foods and all these things I like. Namkeen. What is that? Word mithai, namkeen, conclave. Right? So, the buddhi can say, I can give up. It has the capacity. Fortunately, it has that capacity. Otherwise, this association will never end. In this case, he says, bhṛśam. This association is for life. For multiple lives it is there. Okay? That is called bhṛśam. Intensely associated. So, with the body and sense, this whole complex, this buddhi is the one that associates with this complex and calls it as I. This is me. This is I. Not just the body, Indriya, Adi is there. And all my accomplishments also. My resume is big. My resume is not in the body. My resume is out there. All the things I did, all the places I visited, it's all there in this paper, in this piece of paper. Okay, that is also me only. That is me. Bhṛśam. Nobody can separate me from my accomplishments. I am unique. Bhṛśam. Okay, bhṛśam. And one more word is there. Ajasraṃ. Ajasraṃ. Okay. Ajasraṃ. Vijnanamaya. Just in case you think this intense thing will come and go periodically, it will be intense, then afterwards I'll relax from this intense association. No. It's continuous. Ajasraṃ means continuous. Satatam. Continuous. It doesn't, there's no gap at all. In fact, Mahaswamiji says, sarvada, always, jagat swapnayoho sarvada. In the times that it matters, it really matters, not when I am asleep. Okay, when I am asleep, whether this association is there or not, it doesn't matter at all, because I am fast asleep. This association doesn't help me, doesn't hurt me also. But the moment I wake up, swapna also, in swapna also, this association is there. It's very obvious in swapna. In Jagrad avastha also, the association is there. Therefore, sarvada, Mahaswamiji says sarvada, satatam. Okay, this association is there. And abhimanyate. Once that association is there, then the guy says, aham manushyaha. I am a human being. Aham manushyaha. Why did I ever say I am manushya when I introduce myself to somebody? Do we say I am manushyaha? No, we don't say that. But when Rama introduced himself to Sugriva, he said, what did he say? He says a word. What is that? Atmanam manusham manye. Atmanam manusham manye. I consider myself to be a human being. What is this? What kind of introduction this is? Why? Because Sugriva doesn't look like a 100% human being. Therefore he says, I am a human being. Atmanam manusham manye. Vidhi Dasharathatmajaha. And I am the son of Dasharatha. This is where all our application forms in India, I think this comes from Ramayana only. So your name telling is not enough. You have to tell me what your father's name is. Only then you have really started introducing yourself. What is this my name is and all that? My name is and all is not enough. Who are your parents? Who gave birth to you? That's what we need to know. We probe a lot. And so I think it comes from Rama only. Anyway, Dasharathatmajaha, he says there. So, Aham Manushyaha. Look at that. Mahaswamiji gives many examples. Aham Sthulaha. I'm stout. I'm fat. Aham Sthulaha. Aham Gauraha. I'm fair. Aham Gauraha. Aham Krishnaha. I'm dark. Krishnaha. All these things. These are all body related. Aham Kanaha. In sense organs. Aham Kanaha. I'm one-eyed. One eye is gone. I am one-eyed. Aham Kanaha. Aham Badhiraha. I'm hard to hear. I'm deaf. Aham Badhiraha. Mukaha Kanaha. Like that. She gives some examples. And Chakra uses those words in Brahma Sutram. Badhiroham, Gauroham and all he says. And so, Mahaswamiji writes these words because picking from Shankara's words from Brahma Sutram. Those are all connections I am able to make out. And Tishtami, Langayami, he says. I stand, I sit, Langayami, I carry, I climb. All these words he says. All this Kriyavan, Kriyavan. So the whole drama starts at that point. Aham Pashyami, Aham Shrunomi, I see, I hear. So all sense organs are active. That's why Krishna said in the Bhagavad Gita 5th chapter, Naiva kinchit karomi iti yukto manyeta tattvavit pashyan shrinvan sprishan jigran ashnan gachan swapan swashan. Hey, beautiful. Now he says the exact opposite. Pashyan, Pashyan. Jnani also says, I see only. Shrinvan, I listen only. But then despite all these things, Naiva kinchit karomi iti. I don't do anything. Even though I am doing so much, I don't do anything. Go figure, that's what they say in America. Go figure. Go figure. And so go figure means go figure out this puzzle, what this puzzle is. So we people are all enlightened. We have studied Bhagavad Gita, so we know the answer to that puzzle. Chapter 5, some 7th or 8th shloka it is there. And so this association is there. Then the purpose of Vedanta is to understand that this is an association only. And so I don't have to take that as what? Absolutely real. It is only an association between two entities. Therefore, I am that A. B is really not A. A is really not B. Like that, I have the capacity. That Shakti is given to this Buddhi. So, dehendriyādiṣvabhimanyate bhṛśam ajasraṃ ahamiti abhimanyate. Alright, let's look at the translation. The kosha known as Vijnana has the power of illuminating the kosha known as Vijnana has the power of illuminating due to the reflected consciousness. Due to the reflected consciousness. So the Shastram uses this word, pratibimba, reflection, because it's very difficult to explain it otherwise. But the danger of using the word reflection and taking it literally is what? Hey, the sun is being reflected on the water. Hey, the sun is there, water is here. They're two different entities. Water is water, I can drink it. Sun is there. Its function is entirely different. But sun is reflected on this. So water is different, sun is different, reflection is different. But that's not the way it is here. Be careful. So that's why we have to be careful with it. Just put all these things in quotes in the mind. Due to the reflected consciousness, because reflection also is Chaitanyam finally. Annamaya also is Chaitanyam finally. Pranamaya also is Chaitanyam only. Everything is Chaitanyam. That is why we have to be careful when we understand. Power of illuminating due to the reflected consciousness which has entered it. Which has entered it. Okay, semicolon. It is a modified form of prakriti or a product of prakriti. Either one is fine. It is a modified form of prakriti having the function of knowledge and action. Having the function of knowledge and action. And having the function of knowledge and action, and always identifies totally, completely, totally. Earlier I said intensely. Totally also is good. Always identifies totally with the body, sense organs, with the body, sense organs, etc. as I, within quotes, I, with body, sense organs, etc. as I, full stop. The kosha, known as vijnana, has the power of illuminating due to the reflected consciousness which has entered it. It is a modified form of prakriti having the function of knowledge and action, and always identifies totally with the body, sense organs, etc. as I. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.